Hola, senor. How are you today? Yes, another year, another BC1. Time flies, my good friends. So I'm here to give you guys my quick predicciones for the Red Bull BC1 2025 this year. You know how it goes with Red Bull BC1s. It's very, very hard to predict who will win and who will lose. And it's kind of like a lottery. So let's head on over to a little something I call the internet. And let's check out this lineup because I do kind of know who is competing, but I can't tell you at the top of my head. So let's head on over to the Ethernet. Let's see who we got, and I'll give you guys my honest predictions on who is taking 2025 Red Bull BC1 in Tokyo, Japan. So straight up the top right here, we have Hiro 10. Could Hiro 10 win BC1? Well, I'll tell you one thing. He will drive the crowd nuts, that's for sure. Representing Japan, hometown, very explosive, very quick. To be honest, a pretty expansive vocabulary and difficulty level. You know, if he's going to be losing against someone, it's going to be against someone who really has a developed style and character and maybe is a little bit more advanced than him in musicality. But overall, could he win? Bro, I think he could win. If he's feeling good, and he has the right bracket, or he's on the right side of the bracket or whatever, or he has the right music, whatever happens that's going to be in his advantage could mean the day for him. So Mighty Jake, oh bro, Mighty Jake is really good, and whoever's battling him in the first round really has to go all out to make sure he gets past Mighty Jake. But winning the Red Bull BC1 with this lineup, I think his rounds, the structure of his rounds gets a little similar after, you know, maybe like the quarterfinals, around the semifinals. I think if he's up against somebody who has a little bit more of an experience on that type of stage, like for example, the next one right here, Lee. Yes, Lee. So Lee, definitely a potential winner, if you ask me. I think he's very prepared, and I think his vocabulary and his rounds are expansive enough. And, you know, he has the difficulty level, but he also has his own style. He also has his own approach, and not just the way he moves, but also the movement itself. He has a lot of original moves compared to a lot of people who do non-original moves in a more original way. So it's a little bit more research that goes into Lee, and I'm sure judges appreciate that. Next up is the little homie from Belgium representing Djibril. So I think it's really dope Djibril is at the Red Bull BC1. That's actually really cool. Could he win though? I think he could win in the future. For sure, if he beats someone in the first round, he's already going to feel amazing. He's going to be very, very happy. If he gets any further than that, it's going to be like, for a first timer, that would be amazing. You know, I'm not against it. Definitely not. But, you know, I'm trying to be objective right here in this video. And like winning all the way to the final, winning a final against a guy like Lee, you know, Lee comes prepared, man. His baggage is fully packed. So Djibril might do good, but winning, if I have to place bets, like you guys are gonna do right now in the comment section, yeah, place your bets, right? I wouldn't bet on Djibril this year, yet. So, Kazakhstan, Amir already won BC1 in the past. Wild card again this year. You know, Amir is really on some special thing, man. Let me tell you this. If the crowd and the vibe and the mood of the day kind of works, it's his thing, he might win. He might, but it depends how he gets received. You know what I'm saying? So, could be. FE from South Korea. Now that's a dope net. Like, I did not remember he was in the lineup. They might have said at some point that he was going to be competing, but I like right now, I'm just seeing this almost for the first time. FE is one hell of a dope ass b-boy, I'll tell you that. However, you know what I mean? Winning the thing. You know, in the semifinals and finals, I think it might get a little too much swipe based because he's got a lot of insane stuff with swipe. I'm a huge fan of this guy. Prediction, right? Prediction, semifinals, final, it's not gonna have enough variety. That's what I think. That's what I think. But I do wish him the best though. But FE, I'm not putting my money on you this year. Prove me wrong, bro. Prove me wrong. Flew. From Canada. Fleo's a dope b-boy, bro. He's a little bit more on the underground side. You don't see him as much at these big competitions. First thing comes into mind, will the difficulty level on the Red Bull BC1 stage be enough to beat a guy like Hiro 10? To beat a guy like Mighty Jake. Because let's be honest, Mighty Jake, Hero 10, they also have a little bit their own touch. Fleo's way of breaking is a little deeper, a little bit more advanced in his own style, like his own kind of personality. He kind of figured out who he is, you know what I mean? But the difficulty level, he does have some difficult moves, but compared to the Hero 10 and compared to the Mighty Jake, guys, I'm not sure, man. That type of stage, you know what I mean? They love the big moves at the BC1. You got the camera doing the 360 around the stage and all that kind of stuff. Bro, I wish him the best. But again, if the vibe that day is really feeling his style, you never know what might happen. You know what I mean? He might beat one of those big move guys in the first round. You never know. You never know, bro. Would I put my money on him for BC1? I don't think so. If it would have been more of a Circle King vibe kind of jam, I might put my money on him on that kind of, in that kind of setting, right? Isen, Japan. So Isen, Hero 10, both, they're not the same guy, but their breaking is very similar. They're both very fast. They both have extreme power. They kind of mix up elements together, right? They're not just power heads. They mix everything up. And they got that insane speed. So like Isen and Hero 10 for me is like, if they can stay fresh, keep that vibe, that flow, that feel going all the way to the semifinals and finals while trying to stay fresh, not repeating. And I'm not talking about just repeating moves. I'm talking about also repeating similar round structures, because it could look the same at the end of the day, right? If they can manage to stay fresh, they've got the crowd behind their back, one of these guys might just win. Grimson, representing the Ruggeds. So there's two guys from the Ruggeds. I did not know he was competing this year. He usually does very, very well in these type of events, in these stages. He's gonna kill the beat. Those little accents you didn't pick up on yet. He's gonna do like that big flip and then da-da-da, boom, boom, da-da. He's gonna hit it. Will he win though? He could if he stays confident enough. If he manages to find a good balance between him really killing the beat, but still delivering those big packages of big moves and big rounds and really pleasing everyone in a certain way, then he might make it far enough. But then again, I don't know his arsenal, and I don't know if he has enough for semifinals and finals. Because that's what it's all about. Semifinals and finals. That's where everybody really has to step it up, because most people, they're used up, they're empty by the time they get to the semifinals and finals. So you gotta be badass enough to make it through those first rounds, knocking out those guys with the big moves and still have all their rounds. And then semifinals and finals, if you're well prepared enough, that's when people actually start to get a little weaker. And if you manage to pull through at that particular moment, you might just do that. So Jetlag also new on the BC1 stage. He's been working very, very hard. He's really been pushing his capabilities out there. He's gonna do really good, solid rounds. You know, one thing it might just lack a little bit of like an advanced touch on musicality, an advanced touch on a certain swag and a certain feel that Grimson is absolutely gonna display. I think that might just make it harder for him to make it to the higher rounds and into the final. You know, this level, everybody is, you know, I'm not trying to tell these things and be degrading. I'm just brutally, honestly, just trying to tell you guys who I'm putting my money on, all right? So if any of you guys are placing bets somewhere on this earth, all right, I might just help you out here, make a little bit of money. That's all I'm doing, because I got a lot of respect for all these guys, and I know a lot of these guys, man. Like, but this is a video, right? This is predicciones. El predicciones del Red Bull BC1 2025. It's predictions, all right, guys? And feel free to predict who you think might just win this Red Bull BC1. Shigekix. Now, Shigekix, you know, he learned some hard lessons in the past, like his legendary battle against Flea Rock and stuff like that. Him and the two other Japanese guys, bro, they're up there, man. They like, just one of these guys just needs to have that good day, and Japan might just take home the win. Because, you know, Shigekix, he's a goddamn Formula One car. Like, this guy will not stop for anyone or anything. So he might. I know he's maybe not your favorite. You know how the breaking scene is, right? Everybody has a very strong opinion. But let's stay objective on this one, guys. Winning, he has enough rounds, for sure. He has what I was talking about, right? Making it to the semifinals and finals and still having that, let's just say that mother load. The mother load. Now that's a guy that is capable of doing that. Just hope the music works well for him, and just hope the judges are feeling him. And more importantly, that he is feeling himself. All right, then last up for the wild cards, we got Icy Ives. Now, Icy Ives did really good last year. However, in the final against Minnow, it was a little short. You know, the rounds were a little bit short. I'm sure he has a very expensive arsenal, but I do remember it being a little bit like just not enough, especially versus Minnow. Minnow was well prepared. However, Icy Ives, he dances in a very developed way. I love the way he dances. Musicality on point, strong character, like stepping away from like the deaf b-boy, if you know what I mean, like the complete opposite. But his rounds were just a little too short, and it was a little bit like it seemed like he had to do the final with some spare parts, if you know what I mean. So if this year his stamina, his vocabulary, if everything's on point, he might make it to the final again, because keep in mind, he made it to the final last year, making it through the last chance ciphers. So he had a double shift, if you know what I mean, right? He made it through and made it all the way to the final. So he's a very capable human being, let me put it that way. But I think it just missed a couple of percentages of preparation to be really ready for that stage. And he's a smart guy, man. He might have learned that lesson last year and implement the lessons this year. So those are the wild cards. If I would have to put money on 4 people, it would be number 1, Lee. Number 2, one of the Japanese guys. So it's like 3 in 1 kind. And then it would be Icy Ives, and then, you know, Grimson or Amir. You know, that's kind of like my, like, let's put it in a triangle, if you know what I mean. That's gonna be my prediction, guys. And I wish everyone the best of luck. I hope you make a lot of money placing bets, and I hope you enjoy the live stream. All right, so there you go, guys. That was my predicciones de Red Bull BC1 2025. Hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I haven't uploaded in a while because I've been kind of building Netflix for power moves, kind of insane stuff. But more on that later. Peace, guys. Enjoy the BC1. Peace, 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 peace.